I don't really believe in motive, Sid. I mean, did Norman Bates have a motive?
No.
Did they ever really decide why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people? Don't think so. You see, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid. We did your mom a favor, Sid. That woman was a slutbag whore who flashed her shit all over town like she was Sharon Stone or something.
Yeah, it would put her out of her misery, because let's face it, Sidney, your mother was no Sharon Stone.
Welcome to What Makes It Scary, a seasonal podcast unleashing the fear behind your favorite and not-so-favorite horror movies. I'm your host, Clever Girl of Jody Henderson Effects Studios. And with me, I have Mr. Red of Alex Vincent Productions.
I feel like that's not correct.
Nah, it's totally fine.
Okay. It's something like that.
Okay, well, Alex, I have a question for you this week.
Yes, I would love to answer that for you.
Really?
Yeah, I would love nothing more.
Okay, my question is, what's your favorite scary movie?
Whoa, that was cool with what you did with your voice there. You sounded just like from that one movie.
Yeah.
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 What?
Scream! Scream, that's what we're talking about. No, that's what we're watching.
Oh, the movie.
This week. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Yes. One of the best horror movies ever.
And might actually be my answer to that question. What's your favorite scary movie?
Nice.
Little peek behind the curtain. I love this movie.
It's awesome. It is definitely of my top, I'm going to say 6, my top 6 movies.
Okay.
It's on there. Honestly, because I can't choose between, spoilers for next week, 13 Ghosts and Scream. Like, those are my two,
13 Ghosts. I want to make sure the audience understands this correctly. Understands this correctly. You put 13 Ghosts on the same level as Scream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. I went there.
I just want the audience to be aware that this is something that exists.
It's awesome.
Both movies.
And we'll talk about more of that next week.
Both movies feature the Lillard in all his form. What?
Yeah. We'll get into Matthew Lillard later.
This episode, by the way, is about the franchise, not just the first movie.
Yes, not just the first movie. We're going to be taking on all 4 Scream. Okay, that's enough.
I keep thinking that you're telling me to do stuff.
When did you first watch Scream?
I don't have a memory of watching the first movie. It's one of those movies that, because this movie came out, I was like 2 when the first one came out.
Correct, yeah.
So I think I saw it pretty early. It must have been like the early 2000s or so. And I didn't really have an appreciation for it because I hadn't seen a lot of the movies that it was playing off of.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really good movie. It was really scary. Ghostface is terrifying, especially when you're young. And it really left an impression on me. And I loved the movie. It wasn't like other movies that I liked at the time. And when I grew up, I was like, oh, yeah, that movie's not the best. This is one of those movies that's like, oh, man, remember that movie I liked when I was young? Wow, this movie's even better when you understand it.
Yeah, that's so rare.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the other movies I watched sporadically and then watched again, which we'll talk about. What about yourself, Ms. Clever Girl?
I want to say I must have been 14, 15 when I finally sat down and watched the entirety of this movie. I always knew about Scream and I always knew about Ghostface and I was terrified of that.
Sure.
But I think it was on MTV, which is really funny because MTV now has Scream, the
TV show.
TV show.
Well, yeah, it kind of moved, but I don't know about
whatever. So that's what I watched it on, and I seriously that opening scene between Drew Barrymore. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was shook.
Oh, and that opening sequence, I'm sure we'll talk about it. It is horrific. Even after watching it several times, and I'm an adult now, and I'm watching this movie, that first opening sequence is still just that really messes with me.
It does. It does. Okay, so Scream came out in 1996. Woo! And did you know, I'm sure you did because you did your research, that the Scream franchise is loosely based off of the Gainesville Reaper?
Did not.
Way to go.
Sorry, I did not know that, in fact.
Have you ever heard of the Gainesville Reaper?
No, Gainesville is in
Florida.
Florida. That's what I was going to say.
Florida.
You got to it first.
Florida.
Okay.
These murders took place in 1990.
Oh, okay.
Of this guy who went on a killing rampage and killed 5 college students from Florida State University.
Don't do that.
Did not get caught for at least 4 months, and he actually got arrested for a different charge and then just admitted to these murders.
The Al Capone situation.
Yeah.
Was that Al Capone? I think it was. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it was kind of loosely based on that, which always makes something, I think, more scarier when it's loosely based on something.
Yep.
Which we've talked, past episodes, what everything's kind of based off of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's dive into this movie.
Cool, let's do it.
So,
I love this movie.
It's awesome. When they made this movie, the huge draw to it was that Drew Barrymore was in it. She was, like, heading towards the peak of her...
Yeah, she was huge at this time.
Yeah, her status. And so that everyone was like, oh, Drew Barrymore's in it. It's going to be good. And then audiences were shocked that she dies in the first 12 minutes. And yes, that opening scene is like 12 minutes.
It's pretty long.
But yeah, they were shocked. But apparently she was originally cast as Sydney Prescott, who is our protagonist. Yes. They then... She was, because she was becoming a rising star and everyone wanted her and everything. Her schedule became too busy.
Oh, no.
So she's like, well, I think it's better if I play Casey Baker. It'll make for, a better shock value for your audiences if I'm killed off in the first.
That was her
minutes.
idea?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
cool.
cool.
It's also, she was like, I'm fucking busy making way more money. So they looked at other people to play Sydney Prescott. They looked at Reese Witherspoon. And Brittany Murphy, which, holy fuck, if they cast her, I would hate this movie.
Wow.
But they settled on Neve Campbell. And I say settled.
Yeah, well.
But Neve Campbell is a great part of this movie.
She kills this movie.
Yeah.
So to speak.
She's friggin' awesome.
She is.
The original working title for Scream was Scary Movie, which I think is really funny. Because then they however many years later, they started making scary movies, making fun of a movie that was making
it's like
fun of horror
it's a parody
movies.
Of a satire, which is just...
Could we get any more meta?
Yeah, probably. But I don't want to think too hard about it. They actually say, we were watching the movie in preparation for this, and I noticed at the end of the movie, Courtney Cox is saying, like the plot of some scary movie.
Fun, yes.
And I feel like that was written when the working title was still Scary Movie.
Probably. They changed it based on Michael Jackson's song Scream. That's how they came up with the new title of Scream.
I like Scream better.
I do too. It's just easier.
We live in a post-Scary Movie world, so it's hard to imagine Scary Movie being the name of...
Right.
Anyway.
So, opening of our movie.
Yeah.
We have what we think is our heroine. At home, alone, making some Jiffy Pop.
Hello.
Yeah, answers the call. Oh, wrong number. Click. Oh, guy calls back and somehow, gets into talking to her, which doesn't sound out of the ordinary. That seems like that could have happened.
In the 90s.
When you had, not texting ability or anything, you actually had to call people. Yeah.
He just starts, prompting her to talk, and it's like, hey, what's your favorite scary movie and all that.
Yeah.
And then they're having a conversation, but then, things start to get a little weird.
Well, yeah, because he starts, asking, well... Who are you? What's your name?
Yeah.
And she's like, why do you want to know my name? And literally the line that makes my stomach drop down into my anus is
wow.
Because I want to know who I'm looking at. And it's literally oh God, so scary.
And it's written so well too, because she's like, what'd you just say? And he's like, I want to know who I'm talking to. And she's like, that's not what you just said.
Yeah. She I don't even really like Drew Barrymore that much, but she kills it in this scene.
She's just really good.
She's crying. You can really feel these emotions. Some of the writings, kind of whatever, but it's really good. I think what helped film this opening scene, and by the way, audience, we're going to spend most of our time on this first movie because we like it so much, is that the person that they had being the voice of Ghostface, which actually isn't Billy. I didn't know that.
Well, spoilers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully you've seen the movie.
Hopefully you've seen it. It's not Billy. But it sounds like him, don't you think?
Kinda, yeah.
It's a guy whose name is Roger L. Jackson, which is most famously known for voicing Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, Mojo Jojo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and how they filmed these scenes, he was actually on the phone.
Oh, really?
With the actors. And because I was thinking that myself when we rewatched this, I'm like, man, their timing is incredible.
Oh, not his actual recording, but him.
He
was delivering the lines.
He was never introduced to any of the cast members. They kept him in a separate place.
Oh, that's cool.
And they actually had them talk on the phone so we could get a genuine reaction out of
because it actually feels like you're talking to somebody who's not there, but is still really unsettling and scary.
Right. Isn't that genius?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't even think we've mentioned yet that this movie, of course, is a Wes Craven film.
Wes Craven. Yeah, genius.
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, which we talked about.
Yep. Alrighty, so then, she gets brutally fucking murdered.
Yeah.
Strung up.
It's disgusting.
Guts hanging out everywhere. Her boyfriend's even, got like a fish.
Yep.
On the porch. Her parents are literally right there, and she almost makes it, and then she dies.
Yeah.
So, and then boom, cold opening, over. We're now in Woodsboro.
That's it, yeah. And we meet a girl.
Yeah, we meet Neve.
Sydney.
Yeah, in her bedroom. Who's, got those bangs. She's
for days.
working them hard.
She's got them bangs, yeah.
And then her boyfriend crawls up in the window.
Billy.
Yep.
Who, spoilers, we don't like.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, hey, I was just thinking of you. I was watching The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was watching it on TV, though, so all the good parts were cut out. And he's like, which reminds me of our relationship.
Yeah, this is a really weird scene.
To set up what it is.
Right, and he's literally just like throwing all these references to
And then he's like, I'm just kidding, we can wait.
Yeah.
And so then he leaves and whatever. Go to school the next day. She finds out that, her classmates have been murdered and whatever. It happens to be, it's coming up on the anniversary of her mother's death.
Yeah.
Her mother was killed 1 year prior, was raped and murdered by this person called Cotton Weary.
Yeah.
So we think.
Right.
Who is now in jail and is going on trial and blah, 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 blah.
It's this whole thing.
Played by...
Liev Schreiber?
Yes.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Schreiber.
I think that's right.
And who I think every time I watch this movie, I make these dots, apparently. So Mr. Ed tells me.
Yeah.
That his hair in this movie looks exactly like Billy. And I don't know the actor's name who plays Billy.
Right. It's Skeet Ulrich, I believe.
Seriously? His name is Skeet?
Yeah, Skeet.
Oh my God, why?
I don't know. I didn't name him.
Oh my God.
Anyway. But yeah,
their hair
look
is exactly
similar.
the same, which is a plot point later, but
yeah.
Oh my gosh, so crazy. So then we're meeting Sydney, Prescott's best friend, Tatum, played by Rose McGowan, who dyed her hair for this role.
Really?
Her hair's naturally dark, and when they had Drew Barrymore going to play the lead, it would have been a nice contrast for the both of them. But since, they moved Drew's part and they put Neve in, Rose McGowan stepped up and was like, I'm going to dye my hair.
Oh, that was nice.
The producers had talked about it. They're like, oh, you two do look very similar and it could be kind of confusing and everything like that. And she's like, I'm just going to dye my hair. She hates how her hair looks in this movie. I don't blame her. It looks like shit.
Really?
Yeah. But she's like... Well, I'm not surprised
hey,
that you don't notice it.
You know what I did notice is she's dressed crazy in this movie.
She has the most crazy and the most weird lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a weird character.
She's very weird.
Uh-huh.
And she's got a sick body, though.
She does.
Yeah. So she dyed her hair for this one. I think that's really cool that she stood up and did that, because I love contrasting characters. I cannot stand when we have nothing but a cast of tall, thin, white males with dark hair. They all look the same to me, and racist as that sounds.
Well,
they do.
Game of Thrones has this problem where everybody
it's
looks
terrible.
the same. Everyone has the same costume designs, basically.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrible. So we're in our school, and we meet Principal
Himry, right.
played by Henry Winkler.
The Fonz.
Which I just want to talk about, him in general in this movie is... creepy, right?
What do you mean?
I don't know. His just presence, and he touches Sydney's face at one point.
Oh, yeah.
And threatens kids with a knife. That's very creepy.
Yeah, it was a different time, I guess. I don't know.
I also think we're going to jump kind of right into his death.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly don't think the intended killers of this movie killed him.
Really?
I honestly think that.
Okay.
Do you think that?
I don't think that, but why do you think that?
I don't know, because it's so random. Why on earth would spoilers Billy and Stu...
There's two killers.
Yeah. Kill the principal.
Because they didn't like him and they wanted to I think it causes a distract. Oh, it does later get everyone out of the party because they hey, the principal's dead.
There is no way that they would have predicted that is what would happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of points in this movie, and we'll bring them up.
Right.
Is there anything you want to talk about in this movie? Between now and kind of the, like, more towards the end. I mean, we have our Dewey character, played by David Arquette.
Oh, right, Dewey. I love him in this movie.
Do you?
In this movie, I love this character. He's so funny.
It's like painful how, like, dumb this character is. I think David Arquette does a really good job. People criticize him for, like, his face is always kind of, like, scrunched up and, like, just angry all the time. And I'm like, you know what? It works for this character because...
It does. He's like... He's a simple type character. I don't mean like simple, but he's just like a average character.
Yeah.
And he's not very bright. And David Arquette just does a really good job portraying that like naivety.
I think he does too. Does he grow throughout this series? No.
I wouldn't say as much.
I would say his jump from, if you just watch the first one and the last one, I would say, there's a big... But watching the movies in between, you're like, oh, he's the same, and boom, now he's different.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the scene where Sydney gets a call, and she's at their house, and she's like, who is this? And then she, like, runs off or whatever, and I think the killer hangs up, and he, like, reaches for the phone, and everyone's gone. I think he has his gun, and he's just like, what? Hello? And he's, like, swinging around wildly.
I think you're confusing that with Scary Movie.
No, that happens in...
Does it?
Yeah, that happens in... And I'm saying...
This is a constant problem I have with this movie and watching Scary Movie is that the scenes are so effing similar.
Yeah.
Because I literally can picture Doofy in that movie, like, hello?
Yeah.
I'm trying to clean my room. He's got, like, the vacuum that he's, like, toting around with him.
But I think scenes like that are, like, it's pretty clear why they made the decisions they made in Scary Movie.
Yeah, but I'm not faulting that. Okay. Contrasting Dewey, we also have Gale Weathers.
Yes, Courtney Cox, who I love. She's incredible.
I honestly don't know how I feel about Courtney Cox.
I know how I feel about Courtney Cox, and that is, Courtney, if you're listening, come on the show.
Oh my God. I mean, no. I don't know. I'm very threatened by Courtney Cox.
Why?
I don't know. She's so... I don't know.
Beautiful?
No.
Okay.
She's not ugly.
She's not
I don't
ugly.
know. She's just a powerhouse.
She is.
And I'll say that. She's a powerhouse. They doubted that she could really bring this, like, bitchy role to life.
Oh, really?
And she was like, rest assured, I can get this done.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah, she did.
Gale Weathers is a crazy character.
She is crazy.
Yeah.
She's great.
Especially her outfit choices, this neon,
it's like...
suit.
You can see it, like, if the lights turned off, this thing would glow in the dark. You could tell. Yeah. It's really funny.
Around this time, we're still in the school and... Whatever. We get this really nice cameo from Wes Craven, who's cleaning. He's a janitor, and it's so funny because it's like Henry Winkler's like yelling out in the hallway, and he's like, "You mean me, boss?" And he's like wearing a Freddy Krueger sweater and hat, and he's like, "Oh no, not you, Fred." I just think that's a really cute moment that not a lot of people catch on.
And he says, "Where's your hall pass?" And the guy says, "Screw your pass."
He doesn't.
That doesn't happen. It should though.
But, I mean, I danced around this a lot, and now we're going to talk about it. Matthew Lillard. Who is Tatum's boyfriend. Yeah. Ostensibly. And
what do you mean?
Well, because it seems like they just recently got together.
Oh, does it?
Because they killed Casey Baker because she dumped Stu.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, this has to be, like... incredibly recent. Maybe. Which is even more funny now. I'm putting this together in my head that Rose McGowan's character dyed her hair because she then looks more similar to Drew Barrymore's character.
Oh, so he would have...
He has like a type.
Oh, that's cool. That's clever.
Yeah.
I don't think any of that was intended, but maybe. Anyway, he gives like 1,000% in this movie.
I love Matthew Lillard. He is on my top 3 celebrity crushes.
Yeah. This is weird. Like, I love Matthew Lillard, but not for the same reason.
You know what? I don't even think you do. I do. I don't think you do.
What's that?
I don't know. Ever since I've met you, you've always been like, oh, Matthew Lillard. Why would you ever like him?
Well, I don't understand why you think he is an attractive person in any way.
Because he's tall.
Okay. Well, I love him as an actor. I love his performance. He is
committed.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
It's fantastic. Matthew Lillard, if you're watching, we'll have you on this show.
Yeah.
We'll fly you out to Michigan to have you on this show.
Lillard and Cox together at last, once again.
What else were they in together?
I don't know.
Nothing. Probably. You know what? I bet there is. So funny. I'm gonna bring a little bit of you and me into this podcast.
Okay.
our relationship is like very much based around like Scream and Matthew Lillard. Now that I think about it, the very first movie that you and I ever watched together was Scooby-Doo.
Oh, with Lillard.
Yep, with Lillard. And then the first movie, we used to have these like Netflix dates where you'd be at your house and I'd be at my house and we'd be on the phone together and we'd watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we watched Scream 2, which is, you know, that was the first movie that we watched like that.
Yeah, I remember
Isn't it
that.
crazy?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think you and I just love these movies so much, is because it's such, you know, good
Probably.
memories of the beginning of our relationship.
And they're just really solid movies, which helps.
So, when this movie starts, I know I already spoiled that Stu and Billy are the killers, but like, who are we really supposed to think is the killer in this movie?
I don't think that there's any red herrings in terms of they're setting up this person to be the killer. But I do think there are moments where you're like, oh, this person's suddenly acting suspicious. And you're supposed to be like, oh, maybe that person's the killer. I think they do a good job of like shifting the focus around enough. Like, because Billy drops that phone, and this was before cell phones were ubiquitous and everything. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh, you have a phone, so you were capable of calling me or whatever.
Right.
So.
But he jumps in the window seconds after Ghostface leaves her door.
Yeah.
Also, we get Randy, great character, played by
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
Of The Experiment.
Who is our driving force in this movie of horror movies have rules.
Yeah. He's a very meta character.
Yes, he very much is. And he even says himself, like, it's a simple formula. Everyone's a suspect. And I truly think at one point you're literally like, who the fuck is, like, I don't know, it's everybody. Like, you at one point you even think it's like Courtney Cox. You think it's, you know, David Arquette. Like, yeah. You're constantly thinking that. I think when we narrow it in at the end, they're really pushing towards that it's Sydney's father.
Oh,
Scott
right. For sure.
Prescott.
Oh, yeah, because they, like,
find his
they're
car.
not able to find him.
They can't get a hold of him. And
right.
Whatever. So, like, I think they're narrowing it down, which makes sense because Stu himself, when he's in the video store with Randy, is like, I think it's her father. And trying to, like, you know, plant those seeds of, like, oh, maybe it is him and whatever. So... That's a fun part of these movies, is you never fucking know who it's going to be until it's revealed.
Yeah.
It's intended to be that way. When you watch these movies, did you like know who it was going to be?
No, and here's why. Whenever I'm watching any mystery movie or whatever, I forget that I'm supposed to be trying to solve the mystery.
That's very unlike you.
Yeah, it is, because I love mysteries, I love puzzles, I'm always trying to figure out the riddle. But for some reason, when I'm watching especially a good mystery movie, my mind always just goes, oh, what's going to happen next? And I'm like excited to watch the movie. If it's like a TV show, like the Scream TV show, it's a lot easier to like finish a couple episodes and then go on about your day and be like,
I wonder
based on this, yeah. But I always have a problem with mysteries like this, because I feel like they could at any point be like, so everybody has motive to do it and cause to do it and everything. So when it does reveal it, they could just choose anyone and apply a thing to it.
Right, because motives are a thing of the past, as Bill says, you know, it's the millennia. You don't need a, you know, or Randy says that too. Like, you don't need a motive. Mm-hmm. So it really could be anybody for any reason.
Yeah, so it's hard to, unless you get into the thing of, oh, we've only seen these people get attacked, so it can't be them. But then as we see, that's not the case.
There's some really funny moments in this movie, which I think just adds to that, like, oh, this is very meta. Like, Sydney and Tatum are in the grocery store and they're talking about, like, oh, this killer could be blah, blah, blah. And then they're just like, oh, I'm nervous about tonight. Oh, Billy's doing whatever. And they walk past, and then in the reflection of the freezer door that they just walked past is Ghostface. And then he, like, runs away.
In full costume and everything.
Why? That would never happen.
Right. Well,
and is it literally put in there for a joke?
No, I don't think so. Why
do you think it's in there?
I will talk more about this when we get into the what makes it scary of it all.
Okay. We'll put a pin in that.
So, are we getting to the end of the movie?
We are.
It all converges on this. Is it Halloween? They never really specify
what time of year it is.
What time of year it is, because
I think it's fall.
Well,
but
everyone, like, with what Tatum's wearing, I don't think.
Well, and there's like no foliage,
right?
Like there's no leaves changing. Yeah. But I don't even really. Where's Woodsboro? I don't even know. I'm thinking it's like Midwest.
Yeah, I feel like it's like Illinois or Ohio or something like that.
Yeah, but that's probably just because we're from Michigan.
Maybe.
So I don't know what time of year it is. I want to say it's fall.
I feel
Honestly, because we probably just watched this movie in the fall.
maybe. I feel like the movie feels like summer based on how the characters like are dressing and everything.
Why would they be in school?
But they're in school, so it's unclear. And I don't know if it feels like school just started or it's about to end. There's just no sense of placing this movie.
You're right.
Unless it takes place in like the South, and it could be fall. Just it's not very hot.
It's
not
not
very
the
cold.
South though, because this is racist. None of them have Southern accents.
That's not
so
racist.
I
But
feel
I
like it
understand.
is,
I
yeah.
understand what you mean. Yeah. I mean, not everyone does have accents. Like most people from like Texas don't have Texas accents. They're just like, "Hello, I'm an American."
Maybe.
But whatever.
But we have an accent. We don't even.
Sometimes I think we slip
realize
into it. Like, "Hey, what's that over there?
What's that?
What's over there? Oh."
Yeah.
Anyway,
So we're getting down to the final. I say the final scenes of this movie, which lasts half of the movie. It's 42 minutes long, and it's revealed to us that Billy is behind these murders, and so is Stu.
right. There's two killers.
The reason we have this is because Billy's father was having an affair with Sydney's mother,
Yeah.
which drove Billy's mother to leave.
Yeah. And apparently that was enough to make Billy
To
be
make
like,
him-
"I'm going to kill people."
To kill her mother,
Sydney's mother.
Sydney's mother.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know how the frick a, 16-year-old has, the capacity to get away with a murder.
Right. Well, there's
To literally lure someone in who Sydney's mother, Maureen Prescott, lures into her house to have sex with, and he runs in, kills Maureen, somehow blames it on Cotton, and walks away with his jacket and frames him. How on earth? These are the luckiest killers, ever.
This is more stuff I want to talk about in What Makes It Scary segment, but there's
Right.
a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, so now it's a year later. They're finally they're gonna kill Sydney. They're gonna kill her father. They've already killed a bunch of other people. They're gonna blame it on Sydney's father.
Yeah.
And they end up stabbing themselves
Yes.
to look like
They're victims.
victims.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy scene.
Oh, yeah. This is where Lillard goes all out.
And the proof's in the pudding. It's convincing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's finally like, you've stabbed me too deep, and he's dying.
Yeah, he's bleeding out and everything.
Yeah, but he still has enough,
Energy,
gusto
especially
to
towards the
run
end.
after her and then get a huge TV slammed on his face.
Back before plasma screens.
Yeah. And then, of course, Courtney Cox isn't dead, and David Arquette was just stabbed in the back, and
Yeah.
they
There were
up,
fake outs of them dying earlier,
Right,
but they're
and-
fine.
Eventually, they shoot Billy, kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back, they shoot him one more time.
Yeah.
and then boom, we're done.
Yep.
Scream 1 is done.
That's the end of the movie. It's so good. Oh, and Courtney Cox is like, the whole thing, because she's a reporter, by the way. We haven't said that. And she's like, we have finally finished the murders, and it fades out, and it's very classic for the time.
Yes.
I like it. She says scary movie.
She does. So then,
All right.
less than a year later,
Mm-hmm.
we get Scream 2.
Well, okay.
Yes, less than a year later.
It's the next year.
Yes, but listen, within the year,
Right.
it's less.
Scream 2.
Scream 2 is the first movie script to ever be leaked on the internet.
Was
Did
it
you know
really?
that? The original one.
I knew
The
that it was
original
leaked,
script.
and I know you're probably going to talk about some of the stuff that...
I don't really have
Oh.
it. That's all I have. Do you know what was in the original script?
I only know that in the original script, the killer was supposed to be the roommate Haley, is her name?
Oh, yes, you've told me that before. Yeah.
But because the script leaked, they had to change it to, spoilers, Timothy Oliphant's character.
And Laurie Metcalf.
And Laura, I think she was always involved.
Oh, okay.
But I think the killer inside the school was going to be Haley.
Her
but
roommate.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they changed it to Timothy Oliphant, which is why he isn't that established as a character.
They tried to keep him so secret.
Well, I think he just, because you'd want the character to be someone you are familiar with, but since they changed it last minute, they didn't put in the scenes that makes you remember him that well.
Right, and yeah.
Because he's not in the movie for a long time
Right.
before he's revealed.
Right. I honestly, the first time I watched it, I was like, who are you?
Yeah,
I
who's that guy?
could
yeah,
not
I kind of remember him from before.
Right.
I love Timothy Oliphant, though. He's good.
So we also have Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry
O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell?
Yeah.
Jerry Connolly?
I don't know.
Whatever,
We
Jerry.
have Jerry.
Kangaroo
in this-
Jack, he's here.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's literally what I know him from.
Yeah, me too.
And that just shows our age.
Yep.
Which is funny because in Scream 4, we have Anthony Carpenter?
Anderson. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm terrible with names. Who is in that movie, and they were both in Kangaroo Jack.
Right.
Which I think is really funny.
And Scary Movie. Well, he wasn't.
The opening,
whatever.
The opening of this movie is a movie premiere called Stab.
Oh, yeah.
Which is now getting even more meta because it's in a movie making fun of horror movies, has a movie telling about the story that had happened, but is it's a joke of it.
It's kind of
it's
a joke.
It's just a bad rendition of it.
In the first movie, they talk about, like, what if they make a movie? Who would play me? And she says...
look, I'd probably get Tori Spelling.
Yeah, and then she plays her in the adaptation.
Yeah, with Owen Wilson. No, not Owen Wilson. Luke Wilson. Who plays Billy, who has the worst hair in this movie, and it's great.
Oh, it's awesome.
But we're at a movie theater. It's the premiere of Stab. Yep. It must be Stab 1.
It's the first one, yeah.
How on earth is there such a following for this movie that isn't even established yet?
Because the story exists and people are excited about it, I guess. I think there was a book. I think Courtney Cox wrote a book that was popular.
You're right.
And this is an adaptation of that book. So it's an adaptation of a book that was written about the real events of the fictional first movie, which is an homage of all horror movies. Makes the head hurt. Anyway, Jada Pinkett Smith's there.
She's there with her boyfriend. They go in. Everyone is going crazy. They handed out Ghostface costumes.
These people
glow in the
are
dark knives. People are screaming.
Screaming. Ah!
Which you wouldn't even have in a theater.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't know what the fuck is going on.
Right, you wouldn't hear the movie. The movie keeps cutting to the movie, and it's like silent. You can hear like the actual movie, and then it cuts back to the crowd, and everyone's
screaming.
Like, ah!
Yeah. So it doesn't really make any sense. Jada has some great lines in here, like, this dumbass white bitch half naked running up the stairs, like just pointing out that things that everyone has always said about these movies, that they have, their rules and whatever.
She does not want to see this movie.
No, she doesn't.
She's like, this is dumb.
Her boyfriend leaves, gets stabbed in the bathroom, stabbed in the bathroom, comes back. The killer at this time is now wearing his jacket, puts on the ghost face, and so she thinks he's like, oh, why'd you put that stupid thing on?
Yeah.
And then... haha, it's a real Ghostface, stabs her
a bunch of
times in front of the entire audience of this theater. She's then screaming for help, and everyone thinks it's like a gag and whatever, and she finally, boom, dies.
Yep.
Which, can you imagine?
No. A lot of this stuff I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. That would just... ugh.
So that sets off a new string of murders, and we're shooting... Neve Campbell's in college now.
Yep, this happened like really close to her campus or whatever. And, and Randy's there. They go to the same college.
Yeah. She
has this new boyfriend, Jerry
O'Connell.
And Randy now gives us the rules of sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, you have your main characters again. They might not die.
Right.
You're going to have more gore. Body count's going to be bigger.
Yep.
There's going to be another twist ending. So those are our new rules that we're working with.
It is Jerry O'Connell, by the way.
Thank you.
Not Connolly. Okay.
So then, Sydney's in college life. She's, pledging for sorority houses, and her boyfriend's in the fraternities. And which is really funny. We get this great scene with Portia de la Rossi.
Oh, yeah. Portia de Rossi. She's great.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Who's in this movie. And
Buffy's here.
Her name's Cece in this movie, and she gets killed by Ghostface. That's another really good scene that I
Do you want to die tonight, Cece?
Does he say that?
I think so. I don't remember.
I don't know. I love Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Who will then go on to make Scooby-Doo with Matthew Lillard.
Do you think they met on this movie and are like, we should be in a Scooby-Doo together?
They didn't meet on that movie. He wasn't in this movie.
Well, there's probably like a premiere. I'm sure Lillard showed up.
Maybe.
He's everywhere.
But then she will then go on to be in I Know What You Did Last Summer, where she meets her husband, Freddie Prinze Jr., who will also play Fred in Scooby-Doo.
Whoa.
Seriously, the horror world is all interconnected.
And Linda Cardellini was in the Avengers movies.
Nobody cares.
Okay, well.
I mean, I love Linda. That's not what I'm saying. She's also in The Founder, which is a great movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which has Michael Keaton,
who's Batman?
I was going to say Beetlejuice, but yeah.
All right, well, we got to
anyway,
stop doing this.
We can make these lines all day long. We have this great scene where Jerry sings, I think I love you.
Yeah,
Is that from like Top Gun? Is that
I don't
what
know.
that's from?
I have no idea, but I like that scene a lot.
I think it's really funny. One question I do have about this movie is why on earth is Sidney Prescott a theater major?
That's weird. That's a very weird turn for her.
The trauma that she's ensued, I don't see any real viable way that she could then take that and become an actress.
Yeah, lots of artists use their pain to fuel their art.
But
I don't know.
It does not seem in her character bank to do that.
It doesn't really fit.
I think they made this decision just so they could have this theater.
And the end set piece is like a huge stage scene.
Right.
Which is cool, but it doesn't.
Right. It's just out of her character development, which is one of the million things that are wrong with this movie.
Right. It's not a bad movie.
No, it's not.
But
the best, I think one of the best scenes in this movie is when Haley, the roommate, and Sydney get in the cop car and they're going to be drove down to the station to, be kept safe and everything like that. Ghostface stops them, kills the two cops in the car. Somehow Ghostface gets into the car and gets knocked out. And the girls have to climb up over the back seat and then over the passed out body of Ghostface.
Yeah.
It is so intense. It's
crazy. I love it.
They get out, they run away. She's like, I gotta see who it is. Goes back, boom, Ghostface gone.
Yeah.
And then Haley gets stabbed.
Yeah, she dies.
So then we're getting at the end of this movie that the character, his name's Nicky.
Who?
One of the killers.
Oh, it's Mickey.
Mickey.
Yeah.
Mickey. I have terrible handwriting. Mickey, who was in Randy's film class that talked about the rules of sequels.
Yeah.
He's paired up with Laurie Metcalf, who is Billy Loomis's mother.
She's been in the movie. She was pretending to be like another reporter, I guess.
Right.
Kind of like a Courtney Cox.
Weathers.
Gail Weathers. Have we ever said Gail Weathers in this movie? Okay.
Yeah, when I introduced her.
Oh, well.
So she's back. She's ready to kill Sidney because, Sidney killed her boy.
Right.
And she then promises Mickey that he's going to get famous because she's going to pin all this murder on him.
Yeah.
And it's all about the trial that happens, which is, of course, like based on OJ and all the other stupid trials that were happening during the time.
Sure.
That totally draws inspiration from Pamela Voorhees.
Oh, yeah?
Don't you think?
Yeah. Revenge for the death of the son. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. She doesn't get beheaded and reaches up for her own.
No, but she gets shot in the head.
Which is pretty cool.
And it's Laurie Metcalf, and she's fucking crazy.
She's great.
She's also one of those people who gives like 110%.
Oh, yeah.
She does it.
For sure.
I like her. We did get a higher body count in this movie.
Uh-huh.
You don't care about most of the people that get killed, except for Randy. He has like the worst, this, just not even a good death.
Right. It's
for
just
this really good character that we had.
They're just like, let's write him off. Let's get rid of Randy.
And that's sucky.
Yeah. I would have liked to have him stick around.
Yeah.
He's the only, I think throughout the entire franchise, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the only like recurring main character who dies. Like everybody in the first movie dies and then everyone who lasts from movie to movie survives. I
guess I don't know what you're saying.
So everyone who survived the first movie and went to the second one.
Yeah.
And then the third and fourth one.
Okay.
Only one person dies.
He's the only one that
and
died.
It's Randy.
You're right.
Like Courtney Cox, Dewey.
Well, there's the three.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Whew. Scream 2's done.
Yeah, that's Scream 2.
Scream 3 came out in 2000, so we had a 3-year break, and doesn't look like it.
This movie's really bad. I hate this movie.
Yeah, I never want to watch this movie. There's not, unless I want a good laugh, because there's
some pretty really wacky stuff.
Good lines to laugh at in this movie. Where this movie was originally going to go back to the high school.
Really?
But Columbine had happened since then. And so they're like, okay, we need to like really steer this movie in a different direction to keep away from a high school, keep away from students and that type of thing.
Okay.
So they went to this movie set that is now making Stab what fucking ever number.
Yeah, Stab 3, I think.
Something like that. Ghostface can now imitate voices.
Yeah, for some reason, somehow. It's stupid.
That technology doesn't exist.
No.
It probably will never exist.
I'm sure eventually.
That's dangerous to even say.
Yeah.
Because our voices are out there. They could definitely clone us.
We have to do wacky voices when we're on the air so nobody knows. No.
That would be really hard to do.
It would be. Yeah, so it's somebody new. We don't know who it is, going around killing people. Sydney shows up at this movie set. Why is she involved?
Technically, Cotton Weary. is in the first, the second, and the third movie.
Oh, yeah, and he dies. Okay.
And he dies in the beginning of Scream 3.
Yeah.
Because he gets a call from Ghostface and says, I'm going to kill your girlfriend who's at home.
Yeah.
The girlfriend's at home, and the Ghostface gets in there and is imitating Cotton Weary's voice. So she's trusting him, so, like, opening the door and getting killed.
Yep.
So, boom, he's killed. Okay, news. Cotton Weary, who was, one of the leading people for Stab... Whatever, is dead. Gail Weathers comes out of her slumber and is like, oh, I have to start reporting.
She rises from her coffin.
Yeah. It's like,
with her terrible hair, by the way.
Oh, God.
As much as I love Courtney Cox.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what did they do to you, Courtney?
Yeah, you looked so good.
Who decided to do that to you?
Was it your decision?
She's in Friends at this point.
Okay.
And I do know in one episode, they have her get a horrible haircut. And I'm literally like, did you get that done? And, like, you just had to live with that?
Yeah.
Because it's awful.
You had to film
it's a terrible haircut.
that episode and this movie at the same time.
Right. And Sydney's now in isolation. Like, she doesn't talk to anybody. She has this isolated house. She has a dog.
Yep.
She works from home. She's a
call center, help center thing.
Which wouldn't you would stay away from phones?
You'd think so.
You'd literally be so traumatized from a phone, and like
she's working through it. She wants to help people.
I guess,
and it's the best way of staying away from everyone.
This makes more sense than being a theater major, though.
Yeah, it does.
So I give it that.
How does she come back into?
Because I think it's someone else must die.
Yeah.
And like they get Gail gets her out there, and Dewey's on the set of Stab 3 or whatever, because he's a consultant for the characters and blah 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 blah.
Right.
Of course, him and Gail, they had a thing together, but now they're not. So now they're just very vicious towards each other.
Yeah, every movie they start off in strife and then have to get together, warm together. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. We get some really stupid Sydney ghost mom.
Oh yeah, her mom's
which is
showing
unnecessary.
up. The whole movie's about like her mother and her backstory and everything.
Yeah, which is awful. Yeah. Apparently, Sydney Prescott's mother went to Hollywood, I'll just say, and basically had just this horrible casting couch.
Yeah.
Career with these producers, which is really gross when you think about I think the first movie or maybe all of the movies are a Weinstein.
Oh, they're like Miramax, which is a Weinstein business. Yeah, that's
awful.
It is. The whole thing.
Talk about meta.
Oh, yeah. Ew.
And so that's why she's out there, because they're leaving clues that your mother was here and blah 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 blah. So that's how Sydney kind of gets out there.
Okay.
We have I think one of the best scenes in this movie is the prop closet that the quote unquote Tatum, blonde girl character.
Sure.
Gets trapped into, and it has a million costumes of Ghostface, and she's trying to hide behind them and hide from the killer, and the killer literally leans out from behind one. Ooh, I think that part's really scary.
That's fun. Carrie Fisher makes a cameo.
Oh yes.
For some reason, it's weird.
It's fun. That's literally the first time I ever saw Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Isn't that? That's terrible.
That is weird. It's really weird.
Definitely. We also have Patrick Warburton in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He plays,
the bodyguard?
The Gail Weather character of the movie Stab, her bodyguard.
Oh, yeah.
Who gets stabbed.
Yeah, he dies.
Yeah. And we also have joining this cast now is Patrick Dempsey.
Oh, yeah.
McDreamy himself. He plays, the investigative...
He's a detective
that's trying to find out who's doing this and is driving Sydney back and forth from the station or whatever.
Sure.
And we now have the new rules of the trilogy.
Yeah, Randy's sister shows up.
And drops off a movie.
A DVD, or a VHS.
VHS.
Wow.
That has Randy saying, if I died, it's, you got to keep looking out, because there's a new rule of trilogies. Yeah. Which is you're going to go all the way back to the beginning, and there's going to be some new information that you've missed.
Right.
And that's what's going to change what's going to happen from now on. Which is what we get. The director of this movie is Roman.
Yeah.
Who, spoilers, is the killer.
Yeah.
We only get one killer in this movie.
Yeah, which is
That's
really weird.
odd.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were doing that to try and trick us into thinking it was two different people.
Or if they just didn't care and they were just we got to make this stupid movie.
Roman is apparently Sydney's half-brother.
Right, for when...
Maureen Prescott was, in Hollywood making these movies, had this child, and, got rid of him, gave him up for adoption.
Yeah.
He didn't care anything about him. He wanted to reconnect with her. She wanted nothing to do with that. She had, started her new life and had a great family and whatever. He, I guess, then starts following her and filming her with Billy Loomis's father and that type of stuff. Shows all of that film to Billy to plant the seed that he needs to kill Maureen.
Yeah.
That's the new information that we get from this movie.
It's stupid.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And ruins everything.
Well, it doesn't ruin everything because you can just ignore it because it's dumb, but yeah.
Yeah. But, so they eventually kill him and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But Dewey and Gale get engaged at the end of this movie, so I guess it was all worth it.
Yay.
And that's the end of Scream 3.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Then several years later, we get Scream 4.
11 years later, we have Scream 4. Did you see this in theaters?
Yes, I did.
Me too. I made a t-shirt.
Really?
So, go and watch this movie.
Wow. This was the first movie that I saw in theaters. Not the first movie, but the first Scream movie.
Well, yeah.
It's the last one, so it's the only one I saw in theaters.
Yeah. This, sadly, is Wes Craven's last movie before he died in 2015. Mm-hmm. I like the beginning of this movie. You don't?
Yeah, it rubs me the wrong way.
I like it.
Because it starts with, these two girls, and they both get killed. One of them gets killed.
They're watching Stab 13 or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's Stab 6, I think.
Right, and they're like, that would never happen. Maybe they're watching the movie. Maybe they're not.
I don't remember.
I think they are, and then, the killer breaks into the house and it kills both of them, instantly. And then, boom, that's actually Stab
7 or something.
And now we have... Kristen Bell and
Anna Paquin. Rogue. Yeah.
Who are sitting on the couch and it's like, oh, what a dumb movie. So that means that, blah, 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 blah. This isn't really Rogue keeps talking and Kristen Bell reaches over and just stabs her and is like, if you don't shut up during this whole movie, I'm going to kill you, and stabs her a bunch more times. And then boom, now it's
that's actually another movie. That's
actually the beginning of the movie that was in the movie that was in the movie.
Yeah, and then they do the real thing, which is two girls watching that movie, and then they get killed. One of them gets killed.
One of them? Two of them?
Both of them.
Both of them. Yeah, both of them get killed.
The point is, it really throws you off because you're like,
I can't trust anyone.
Right, and now I'm like, well, I don't know, because I'm still like, oh, I don't care about this anymore because this is probably a fake too. But then it's like, oh, it's not. It's real. But it's confusing and doesn't make sense. But yeah, that's how it starts. So this movie, it takes place, but we're back in Woodsboro.
We get Gail Weathers, who is back in Woodsboro for some reason.
I think a book signing or whatever.
No, she lives there.
Oh yeah.
Sydney's the one that's being flown in because she wrote a book. Gail's trying to write a new book.
Oh yeah.
Has writer's block, hates herself. And her and Dewey again. Yeah, they're on the rocks. They're almost on the verge of divorce or whatever.
Right.
And Sydney comes in because she has this book signing. She also is here to see her family. She has that wouldn't be her niece.
I don't think so.
Because it's her aunt's daughter.
Doesn't matter.
Because Sydney's mom
Jody.
And that person were sisters. I'm just trying to figure it out for our audience. Cousins. They must be cousins. Mm-hmm. Jill, played by Emma Roberts.
Yeah.
So she's, there visiting Jill. That's where she's staying while she's doing this book signing. Mm-hmm. And then, boom, these two murders happen. And it's like, the anniversary of, Scream, the original. And it's like, Sydney starts kind of panicking. Maybe I should get out of here.Maybe, whatever. But she's got to keep everybody safe. We also so Jill has a best friend, Kirby, played by Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah, she's great.
Who I love in this movie.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, so people get this app on their phone and now they can imitate the ghost face voice. So you just, again, you can't really trust anybody because it could be anybody.
Yep.
We're led to believe that it's Jill's boyfriend and
it's a lot of suspicion being thrown around.
Yeah. There's a couple of really good scenes I think in this movie. There's one where Jill and Kirby, Hayden Panettiere's character, are in Jill's bedroom. Across the street is their friend. I don't know her name. Yeah. And, they get the call from Ghostface and you're led to believe that he is inside Jill's closet. Right. Kirby rips open the closet, looks at her and he's like, you're fucking lying. And I don't even know if he says like, I wasn't talking about your closet. And it's across the street, and they're like on the phone with the girl that's over there, and Ghostface bursts through and starts murdering her. Basically throws her out the window. Her guts are flying everywhere.
Gross.
I think that's a great scene. It was really scary. Another great scene is when Gail then goes to this stab movie marathon that these kids are having in like a abandoned barn.
It's like a barn. There's hay. It's weird.
She pulls a traditional Gail and like hides these cameras all over the place, goes back to her, car, and Ghostface is there, and he like slowly like covers up all of these cameras of hers.
That's really cool.
She goes back in. She discovers, there's another camera, which means Ghostface is now, filming everything, which is very, nowadays. Like you have constant streaming,
right? Live streams, everything.
Right.
Live stream murder, death streams.
Right. This movie has like the most female character deaths in it.
That's cool.
Like, it has just an extremely high amount of female characters. That's just something that you don't see in horror movies a lot.
Right.
And so, ends up, we get down to the nitty gritty of our core group of characters, and Sydney, Gail, and Dewey are there. And turns out Jill is the one that's behind these killers. She wants to just completely recap what happened to Sydney and, like, be a celebrity off of it.
She wants to take what happened to Sydney and be that herself. She wants to be the new Sydney.
Right, so she's literally like step by step recreating these things, and she is going to kill Sydney. Like, she's finally going to put an end to her.
Right.
And she thinks she does. I believe she stabs her, maybe shoots her.
Yeah, I think she stabbed her. This is a really cool scene where after Sydney is quote unquote dead.
That Emma Roberts goes and fucks herself up.
Yeah, to make it seem like a victim, but instead of she does it after.
Which is what you're supposed to fucking do.
Yeah, kill Sydney and then
I don't know why Billy and Stu would ever stab each other before killing Sydney unless it's just to torture her.
Yeah, just mentally torture
But that's where they fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy seeing Emma Roberts, like, take her boyfriend's hand and rip her own hair out, scratch her face, pin a knife against the wall, run into it, throw herself on a glass coffee. It's
awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's cool.
They go to the hospital. Dewey comes in to see Jill and is like, I think Sydney's going to be okay. I think she's going to pull through. And, of course, Jill's like, fuck.
Yeah,
because I did a whole monologue about how it's me.
Right. Now she has to sneak over there, try to kill her.
Right, and Sydney just wakes up. They're struggling,
There's a fight.
Gail figures it out just in time. She runs down to that room and is distracting Jill just long enough for Sydney to grab the defibrillators and shock her to the head.
Yeah.
And then...
Which doesn't kill her.
Right, which... I think that would.
I think it would, yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but I think that would kill you.
But I played one on TV.
Yeah, I honestly think that would kill you.
Probably, yeah.
But she... somehow gets up and is going to stab Sydney with this huge piece of glass. And Deputy Judy, who we haven't mentioned in this whole movie.
Right, she's there.
She's there, and she ends up killing Jill.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Scream 4. I liked it.
Yeah, it was okay.
I like Scream 4 a lot.
It's probably like my second or third favorite.
It's my second.
Yeah?
It goes 1, 4, 2, 3.
That's probably mine, but it's 1, 4, 2... 3. I really don't like that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the Scream movies. I liked them.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Did you know that the Ghostface costume is the best-selling costume for Halloween of all time because of those movies?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think that's really cool.
That is cool. All right, would you like to move into our segment of what makes it scary?
Yes.
Would you like me to tell you why it's scary?
Yes, I know why, but
okay.
But go ahead.
Well, there's a lot to it. There's a lot that goes into it. So first of all, you have the mask. It is terrifying. It is ghostly. It's why it's called Ghostface. It's got it's similar to a lot of the masks that we've talked about.
Right, like Myers masks, Jason's.
Where they look sort of human. They have the features of a human face, but they're warped in a way that makes you unsettled because it's an uncanny valley type thing. It's like this really stretched out, elongated thing is very weird to see because it's not.
It's actually
natural.
based on the painting Scream.
Right, that's funny.
Which is cool.
And it's got this flowing robes, which makes it hard to focus on and see what you're seeing because there's so many parts to it. A lot of the movie, and this is what some of the stuff I wanted to talk about that I mentioned during the movie recap was. a lot of it has to do with making Sydney and the audience feel unsafe in any situation, no matter where they are. Danger lurks.
Yeah, she's isolated herself and still in danger.
Yeah, but in the first movie, specifically, she's in school, and there's even a line where Dewey says, like, you should be safe here. It's the school.
Yeah.
For some reason.
No, she gets attacked in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because again, we have a bathroom scene.
Right.
For what goddamn reason?
It's scary. It's scary.
It is.
Right. So no one is safe. That's why Henry Winkler dies. They're trying to do a thing where they say nobody.
Even the grown-ups are not
Yeah, well, like anyone in this movie could die at any time, and anyone could be the killer. No place is safe. There's scenes where, like you said, at the supermarket, where they like see the face in the reflection. There's even a scene, and I forgot about this until we watched the movie, but there's even a scene where they're outside on the porch talking or whatever, and the camera pans over, and like through the bushes, you see Ghostface in full costume just dart through the trees or whatever, and it's just meant to be like, and like at anywhere, at any time, Ghostface could show up. So it's nightmarish in that way. The final thing that I want to say about it is the way that it is so unrealistic how these killers behave in these movies, because there is no way that anyone would be this good at murder.
No, especially these two idiots.
Yeah, these two idiots were Stu, who I believe is in the first movie is behind the mask most of the time.
Yeah.
He is such a clown. Like he's just like launching himself all over the place. He's knocking things over. If you were wearing a mask like that, you would not have any peripheral vision.
I've literally worn this mask because I played a trick on my friend while we were watching Scream. I snuck outside, climbed up onto the window, and scared her with a knife. I've actually done that. I've worn that fucking mask. Yeah, you can't see shit.
Yeah, you can't see anything. There's no way that in like a fight situation with another person, you would be able to.
You would never know.
You would not have the advantage. Like you'd be able to see in front of you, and if anyone was like next to you, you would not be able to see them.
you'd never see them.
Yeah, and they're just so good at killing. Like they know exactly where to hide and not be seen. They know exactly where to like stab someone. Like humans are hard to kill. This is surprising. Like, well, yeah, like most people could get stabbed in most places on their body and survive.
Yes.
Yeah. Like a lot of the gut stabs are probably not fatal, at least not immediately fatal.
Yeah, but they're left there to death.
Sure.
For dead.
Yeah. But a lot, and there's just a lot of unrealistic things, like when Tatum's death in the garage door.
Yeah,
there's no way
is the most memorable death of the entire series.
But it's unrealistic. Like there's no way that garage door would lift and kill her.
Actually, you get this feeling that, she's too big and she can't fit through this door. She's actually so small that she kept falling off of this door while they were filming that.
Really?
Yeah, so they had to like nail her shirt to it so she wouldn't like fall out of it. Yeah.
That's funny.
It was crazy. Speaking of the costume, fun fact, Wes Craven, the only time he ever put on the costume, which I didn't know he did, but apparently he put it on for one of the scenes that they were filming. It's the scene where he's like with Drew Barrymore and he's like, he like pops through the window and she hits him with the phone, this huge ass 90s phone.
Yeah.
That's Wes Craven in that costume, apparently.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fun. So he's in this movie twice. The first one.
Yes.
Funny.
Yep.
So a lot of that is unrealistic, but it's meant to be scary, and it's supposed to be an homage to like the unkillable, like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees types, where they keep knocking them unconscious. Oh, and they take so much of a beating, there's no way they would be able to survive. Like,
no.
They wouldn't keep going. Most people, like, we talked about it when Stu gets stabbed and he's like, I'm getting woozy here.
Yeah.
And he's like passed out. He's going unconscious. And then he like jumps up and chases Sydney around the house and gets a TV thrown on him.
He definitely has lacerations to those abdominal muscles that are keeping you upright.
Yeah.
There's no way you're sprinting unless you're purely running on adrenaline, which is entirely possible.
Right. And Billy, like, he gets shot a bunch of times. He gets stabbed a bunch of times with a bunch of different weapons and everything. And Randy's like, this is when the killer comes back to life for one final scare. And then he jumps up and gets shot again. You would not be still alive.
He doesn't technically jump up.
Well, you know what I mean. He's alive.
Yeah, he's alive.
He wouldn't be. Or if he was, he would be unconscious for a long time.
You would think.
So it is unrealistic, but that's what makes it scary. Because it's like, nobody could survive this, and the fact that they do. And they're not superhuman. They're not, like, they do die, but...
Easily.
And the fact that, like, they're able to do... If it was just the first movie, I'd be like, okay, these two are uniquely just lucky in that way. But the fact that two other killers later on do this thing, and then somebody else later on, and then two other people later on are able to continue doing this. It's not very realistic.
Right.
But makes for fun, good movies. Sometimes.
It does. One plot point that I said I was going to come back to is that so Stu and Billy are going to set up Scott Prescott to be the murderer and leave the gun on him that he uses to kill Sidney.
Right.
And they got that gun from
Deputy
Dewey.
It was Dewey's originally, and then Sidney brought it into the house.
Right. So it's Dewey's gun.
Yeah.
Did they know that Dewey was going to be there and that they were going to kill him and get his gun?
I think they knew Dewey was going to be there.
I don't think that.
Well.
No. I don't think that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that had to have happened a very specific set of ways. Like the fact that the house was empty by the time they got to the end.
Right.
Otherwise, they would have had to have killed like 30
Randy
teens.
could have left and he would have been fine.
Yeah, he could have. Maybe they were planning on him leaving, and when because there's a scene where Jamie Kennedy is like watching Halloween and is like, Jamie, turn around. Come on, Jamie. That's funny. And Ghostface is behind him the whole time.
Right.
I think that was them coming in and being like, oh, who's left? Oh, it's Randy. Okay, we'll kill him. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
That's what makes it scary.
Yeah. Oof, it sure does.
And then it's a good
I
movie.
love these movies.
They're really good. You should definitely go watch them, although if you haven't, we spoiled them. Sorry.
That's your own damn fault. You knew we were talking about Scream. It says it right there in the goddamn title.
Yeah, it's the title of the episode. All right, well.
Well, that's this week's episode of What Makes It Scary. Next week you can tune in. We will be talking about ghost movies.
Ah! Oh, I thought you said Scream again. Because we talked about Ghostface, so why not talk about ghost movies and their faces?
Yes. If you want to tweet at us your favorite ghost movie, maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Maybe.
You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at CleverGirl, the letter F and the letter X.
I'm at Mistress, spelled it the long way, Red2342. That's at MrRed2342.
You can also comment on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. Oh, we're on iTunes now, by the way. So you can actually listen wherever you get iTunes.
You can listen on iTunes.
Yeah.
If you want to follow our podcast that is not seasonal, it is all the time. Not right now because we're actually filming this or recording this one. You can follow that on Peeves and Q's podcast.
Yeah, at Peeves and Q's. Well, Peeves and Q's podcast at Gmail if you want to email us, but it's at Peeves and Q's.
On Twitter.
And just search Peeves and Q's on podcast things. Cool. Anything else you want to talk about? How are you?
I'm shaking.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well.
That's pretty much it. And just remember, it's a simple solution. Everybody's a suspect.
Everyone's a suspect. Okay, so let's do a couple seconds of silence starting now.
Now.
Unbelievable,
Good.
Jody. I can't believe you would do that. All right.
Really? You can't believe that.
Are you just repeating me?
Am I just repeating
Stop
you?
this. If this keeps up during the episode, I will walk out of this very tiny room.
I'll just walk out of this tiny
Jody,
room.
I swear. Okay, Jody.
Yeah.
I am ready when you are.
Are.